I want to be clear about this. I saw Steph coming before most people saw him coming, because I'm going to reiterate that before that draft, I was on the other network. I fought everybody over the fact that I kept digging in and saying that little guy from Davidson should go #1. Never seen anything like him. Never been a better shooter in college basketball, and I'm pretty sure it's going to translate because his daddy could translate, right?
Right.
So I said, it has to be little Steph Curry as the #1 overall, and everybody said, it's Blake Griffin.
Right.
Have you watched? Yeah, I watched every game he played for the University of Oklahoma, and there were a lot of them because he stayed for 2 years. What does that usually tell you about somebody? They need some work, right? They're not an automatic slam dunk #1 overall pick in 1 year of college.
Right.
So Blake stayed. Way to go. I love Blake.
Right.
But now you look back on it, and what do you say?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Fine. So it's not like I disrespected Steph from the start. But I always tell you, I say what I see, or in some cases, what I don't see. And all I know about Steph is that sequence of those last 3 games against your team, LeBron's 2016 Cavaliers, featuring LeBron and Kyrie, obviously, and Kevin Love. What happened in those last 3 games when they had a 3-1 lead, followed by what happened in the offseason, disqualified Steph. As lovable and as great a guy as he is, but it disqualified him from top 10 all-time status in my book. Because what did you tell me? Draymond fled into the parking lot crying tears, right?
Yes.
Called KD, we got to have you. You got to come save us. And then Steph Curry leads the charge, the brigade.
Yeah.
They fly all the way as a group, all the way to the end of Long Island, where KD is vacationing on July the 4th to try to recruit him to come save us at Golden State. What great player would do that? Again, it's a disqualification because obviously Steph was the best player on that team.
Yeah.
And yet he's leading the contingent to say, we need you.
But I think the thing is, Skip, that just goes to show you the sacrifice. D-Wade had to sacrifice. You don't think D-Wade pitched LeBron?
Had he won a championship by himself?
Yes.
He had.
Has Steph won a championship by himself? He had.
Had he been the finals MVP? He had not.
Skip,
Andre Iguodala was.
But, Skip, you know Andre Iguodala didn't... I shouldn't say he won it. But let's not pretend that Steph Curry wasn't averaging 26 points a game in the finals.
Okay,
Skip.
but they were down 2-1 in LeBron's house, and Steve Kerr went to Andre Iggy in the starting lineup.
But he mainly got that award for holding a man for 36, 13, and 9.
Okay, but he did do a good job on it. He also did a good offensive job with LeBron often guarding him.
Yeah, but Skip,
he changed that series.
I mean, normally you don't give guys finals MVP for averaging 16 points a game.
Okay, but go back and look at LeBron's numbers that fateful Game 4 night in his house, up 2-1. He was terrible that night.
Yeah.
You can say he had an off night, but Iggy had a lot to do with it. It turned the whole series around, and your guys didn't win another game in that series, right?
they did not, Skip.
Okay. All right, so let's look at the overview of Steph. You throw all these big numbers. Look at the percentages of what's happened to Steph and all of his playoff. I'm doing all the series, not just the finals. I'm not focusing. I'm not cherry picking.
Okay.
I'm looking at the overview of this. In regular seasons, he has averaged 48% from the floor. Pretty good for a guard who shoots a lot of outside shots, obviously. In the playoffs in general, that falls down to 45%. You say, well, it's only 3 percentage points. Well, he's played a bunch of games. It's a huge drop.
It is.
Okay? 3-point shooting, which he is the all-time obvious greatest at. 43% in regular season games, but in all of his playoff games, he's only averaged 40%. Another 3 percentage point drops. It's huge. Right? And then I'll never get over this because obviously I was rooting for Golden State at this point, but they're up 3-1. And in games 5, 6, and 7, 2 of those at Oracle in Steph's house, he shoots 37%. This is overall in those 3 games, 37% from the floor, only 36% from 3. That's 15 of 42. In all 3 of those games, as the point guard of that team, he had 7 total assists in 3 games and 12 turnovers. He was a -20 overall and plus-minus for those 3 games. And now we start looking at just the fourth quarter of those 3 games, 5, 6, and 7, 2 at Oracle. He shot 30% from the floor in those 3 fourth quarters and only 25% from 3. It's horrendously bad, which leads to the culminating Game 7. This is Steph's game. This is one of those, you put your stamp on it for all-time legacy purposes, right? He shoots 6 of 19 from the floor in that game and 4 of 14 from 3. And excuse me, in the fourth quarter, he goes 1 of 6 from the floor and 1 of 5 from 3 and has a huge turnover with 3 minutes left that helped turn the tide back in favor of LeBron and Kyrie.